Hi guys, today I have a TV to repair. This is one of the main dreams for technicians because nothing is burned on it and it's an intermittent problem. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. Now it happens every time, but it's still switching between on and off the problem. This kind of situations is hard to get. So let's learn how to do it. Something important to do always is look for the datasheet, look for the manual, the service manual. Everything can help you about the electronics component you are dealing with or the general description of the service for the device you are going to repair. So this is the issue. My TV turns on, is okay, turns off when I want it, is okay. The image is perfect, cable is working, the input signal is working too, and the only problem is the volume mutes whenever it wants. There is not any strong noise, it just mutes from one moment to the other without changing the volume level I had before. So now I know I have a problem in the audio stage, so I don't care about the rest of the TV. I must focus first in the speakers. And I have two or probably three things in between. The power supply to the amplifier circuit, the speakers, the input signal, and maybe something else to control the mute signal, to let the TV to turn the speakers off. I know the power supply is okay because everything is working. The only thing I mind is in the section of the transformer that feeds the amplifier circuit. I have a selection between 10 volts and 15. This is the ground. I choose either way by default. I don't do it, they did it in the factory. And this is the line. I have a rectifier diode, one capacitor, then I have some extra capacitors, and it goes directly to the pin 2 in the amplifier circuit. Just to try to think smart. If the diode opens, that could be my problem. I have an intermittent problem and it turns off my amplifier. If the diode enters in short circuit or the capacitor enters in short circuit, in that case the power supply will detect the amount of current and will shut down the TV. That's not my problem. The TV doesn't shut down. So if the capacitor is open, this rectifier, what it does is rectifies in halfway. So I will get a pulsating voltage and I will hear the 50 Hz or 60 Hz on the speakers. That's not my problem too. So far, it could be the diode opens, but maybe there is more. Other thing that could happen is speakers, sometimes they open the coil in function of the time with the heat, and that could be my problem too. So there is one way to test it, and it is to apply signal to it. One more probability? Yes. Sometimes the contacts, they get dirty and it will open the circuit and it blocks the audio. There are ways to do it, to test it. Yes, you can use external speakers too. By the way, I use external speakers to find out if the speaker was opening with the temperature, and it doesn't. Because if it opens, it doesn't matter. I'm using external speakers and they should not open. And the same thing, it goes off wherever it wants, muting the audio. So I knew the problem comes from the electronic system and not in the speakers or the bad contact there. One way to do it is to block the connector there and try to check it a little to see if the audio comes back. What most of you guys will do is to block the TV and try to test it. What I'm not going to do is to block the TV and try to test it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my power supply and I will feed the voltage right there. I can use the data sheet of the amplifier to find out what is the voltage here, but I already got the information, it's 9.6. So I will apply 9.6 volts in the pin 2. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to apply an input audio signal. I depend from two sources of information. Number one, the audio signal, the output from the other chip, what is the characteristics of it? And number two, what is the maximum and minimum signal I get there? In average, in audio, we always work with about 1 volt peak to peak, in case of I don't have that information or I cannot get that information. I know maximum 1 volt peak to peak. So I will not block the TV, I will just feed my circuit and I will apply my audio signal, and let's see if the amplifier turns off. I know it's not the speakers because when the audio goes off, it goes off in the external speakers too, so it's not opening the coil there. This is the transformer and this is my diode. This is the output. This is the capacitor. And I have to find a ground. So far, I found this place. I'm using the other test lead on the chassis of the tuner. By reference, I know the audio is coming from the resistor 607. On the other side of the resistor, there is a coupling capacitor of 2.2 to the output chip with the output signal for audio. Now I'm going to use the function generator. Guys, you will laugh. I'm going to use this toy for this video. To avoid problems with grounds, I'm going to use this power supply for the function generator. This is my resistor 607. I am not using a coupling capacitor because in the other side I am decoupled by a capacitor of 2.2, and here I'm using the resistor of 11K in between. Now with the toy, I will add 600 Hz. This is with what I'm going to work with. Now let's put this guy together. I will connect to the speaker. You can hear the audio. I reduce the signal because it's very annoying. Alright, now I'm going for lunch, coffee, and if the system mutes, I know there is a problem with the speaker. If the system doesn't mute, then I know it's the third probability. Speakers are okay, power supply and amplifier are okay, the signal is okay, but it's not the output, it's not the audio signal, it's the system that mutes the amplifier. It has been under test for a while, and I know my amplifier is not turning off. So I will go now for the mute system. It's a digital signal. It's something that depends from the firmware. It's not analog electronics. Then there is nothing to do, just than to say my TV has a psychological problem. Remember guys, we have several components to test. When we get a damage, we have to test all the components in that stage. Probably sometimes we have to renew some of the components too. It's what we call the kit of reparation. In that case, capacitors, resistors, even one transistor has to be checked and maybe replaced. So far what I understood is my system is working fine. As I said, the problem is a psychological problem. It comes from the firmware. Everything is fine, the hardware is fine, but I get a signal from the mute telling in the base of this transistor enter in conduction and shut down the audio signal to ground. So there is no audio signal anymore in the amplifier. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open that resistor and I will now get the signal of mute. Also, never ever leave a base in a transistor without any connection, because I will get noise on the line. Then I'm going to make a short circuit with a wire on this capacitor, so I will put a short circuit between the base and the emitter. And that's it. That will solve my problem. The only issue I get is when I turn on my TV, I will hear a poke. Why? Because I get a signal and I am not muting before the signal enters in the amplifier. But it doesn't bother me, and the strike of the noise is not so high, so it's not affecting the amplifier and it's not affecting the speakers, and it's not annoying. And remember guys, for this video I didn't power the whole TV. I just used the electronics laboratory power supply to power the stage I need. That is one of the best ways to troubleshooting for intermittent problems. I hope you liked the video. Do not forget to like and subscribe, and see you next time. Thanks by watching.